Okay, so my name is Jen Cushman. I'm an empathic intuitive, and I am an energy worker, 20 plus year energy worker of Reiki master teacher, also student learning Huna, which is an ancient form of energy work from Hawaiians, and very powerful, extremely powerful, working with my teacher in there that has a 28 generation unbroken lineage. And as of next year, in March of next year, I will fully be part of that lineage with level 2, where I'll be able to use the Huna energy to work on others. So right now I'm using the Huna energy for myself, and I can use the basics of the elemental energy for my clients. But next year, after March, I am like rocking and rolling. So really good, adding that to my other energy work of Reiki, Blue Star Celestial, the other things I'm certified in, okay? I am also a certified master practitioner in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, mental emotional release, and hypnotherapy, which is basically really awesome guided meditations, past life regressions, those kind of things, which I will be getting to as I keep my bottom in my chair and at home. Okay, so I'm really super excited about opening up those offerings. Okay, great. So what I want to tell you this week, our very last week of August, is we have a lot going on cosmically. Now, remember, the planetary forces and the cosmic forces are always, they have frequencies, and they are always emitting energy. And they're talking to each other, just as the way we are always talking to each other energetically. We are constantly emitting vibrations, frequency, and we are receiving energy and receiving frequencies. So the cosmic forces that are at play are always an influence on all living things on the earth, all of it, and our oceans, our waters, and those things, plus all of the animals and the living creatures on the planet. And we, of course, are influenced by the cosmic forces. So, and particularly my community, right? Which is the community of creatives, highly sensitive, and empaths. You guys, that's my people. This is who I speak to. This is who I work with and who I talk to. Primarily women, although every once in a while I do work with some guys. Different way of working, but I definitely work with women, empaths, creatives, and sensitives. That's who my avatar or my people are, okay? So this week, it's really important to talk to you about things. And I have notes, so I want to make sure I read my notes because I did not want to get anything. I don't want to miss anything. So if it looks like I'm looking off to the side, reading notes, just know that I am, but it's just a little form that I put together for you guys to make sure that I hit all the highlights of what I wanted to talk about today. Okay? Okay. So what I want you to know is that we have another planetary retrograde that begins in 24 hours. And it's the Uranus, it's when Uranus goes retrograde, okay? So, so this is pretty interesting. So Uranus is actually called the hidden planet, right? So that is when Uranus goes retrograde. It's when secrets are revealed and when they're looked at again. So that's just kind of an interesting thing, is the hidden planet. I'll talk a little bit more about that. So the theme of the next 24 hours, you guys, so by noon tomorrow, all parts of the continent will be in this Uranus retrograde. So in the next 24 hours, it is really a time that we are looking at unwinding our missteps so we can be aware of the past. So if you have any events in your life, any things in the past that you're still kind of chewing on, that you're still kind of working with, anything that you still have big past hurts on, you know, anything that you might be feeling victimization with, any of that kind of stuff, Uranus is really here to support you. So remember, when planets go retrograde, that is really means that they're moving backwards. And moving backwards means it's really a time to stop and review your past. And it's a way of, like, you know how they talk about hindsight, right? You know, hindsight being 2020. So when we are where we are now and we can look to our past, we can see it with hindsight being 2020. We can see the lessons that we were supposed to learn from this. We can see the growth that happened, you know, the changes, the learnings that were to come from these events. And so you can see it with fresh eyes. And Uranus is really there to help you see things with fresh eyes. Now, it's really interesting about this one because not only is this a good time to look at an event or a situation from the past with fresh eyes, it is also much more easy and clearer to see the situation. And if you can really look at whatever happened in a whole new different way of looking at it, you can see what role did you play in the event? You know, honestly, what role did you play in the event? How did your reactions, right? Your past programming, you know, your coping strategies, your mechanisms, all the learned things that you have. How did you and your responses play into the event? And where can you accept responsibility? Where is it your responsibility to accept? Where is it your place to allow the others involved in the event to accept responsibility for their part in the play? And again, what are the lessons? What was the dynamic at the time that was there to help you on your growth and development as a human being in this lifetime? Okay, so that's the point I really want you to know, is that it is easy to see these things right now. It's not quite as difficult because you can look back with a little bit more space and time. Okay. So Uranus is going to be in retrograde for a long 5 months, right? 5 months. So through the rest of this 2023, it's going to be in retrograde. And it's going to be an extremely helpful retrograde for us as long as we stay flexible and we're open to change. Okay, staying flexible, being in flexibility and allowing ourselves to be open to change is really a key to this Uranus retrograde. The energetics are really here to support us in our change. And here's the kicker, you guys. If we resist the change, or we stay in our old stories, or we stay in our old feelings about these past events, we are going to encounter resistance for the remainder of the year. So we can be stuck in our stuff and our stories for 5 more months if we are resistant to this process. You know, yuck, right? Yuck. So the message of this from the cosmic forces this week is really to pay attention and accept the change as it comes to you. Okay, accept the change as it comes to you. So, you know, that's a really interesting thing. Okay, the other thing I want to tell you is, again, starting at noon tomorrow everywhere, there is going to be 7 planets in retrograde. 7, you guys. This is the most planets we have had in retrograde for the entire year. So the 7 planets in retrograde are Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, Venus, Chiron, and Uranus. Now, you guys, everybody knows Mercury goes to retrograde, right? It's a joke. It's a thing. Oh no, your technology going to thing. You can blame anything and everything on Mercury going retrograde. I did a Past Magic Mondays where I reframed what Mercury going retrograde actually is. And that's really not a scary time. And it's not a time to sit there and just throw up your hands and be like, well, Mercury's in retrograde. It's going to go to hell in a handbasket, right? So I did a reframe on that. If you ever want to go back, you can go on a Magic Mondays past one on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, which is Soul Star Magic. And you can go look at that one about reframing Mercury retrograde. It was really a good one. It really was cool. Okay. Okay. So again, all of these retrogrades are really here to help us understand our past better and also where we are right now in our lives, you know, in this 3D human lives of ours, our physical, mental, emotional bodies. Okay. Not necessarily our spiritual, not necessarily our as above, but definitely our soul below. Okay. So, yeah, so the message is really to look at what you're holding on to. This is really important, you guys. So the message of 7 planets in retrograde right now is to really look in your life, do some self-reflection of what are you holding on to, and more importantly, where in your life are you in the energetics of over control, right? I know I can get into over control, right? Raise your hand, you guys. And how many of you can get into over control, right? You want your people to do X because you know better than they do what X is, right? How many times have you seen it? It's like, oh my gosh, If they would just do this, their lives would be so much easier because I can see it. It's so easy. All they need to do is this, right? This. And then that really, even though we love them and we want to help them and we think we know what's best for them, guess what that is? That is over control. That is us thinking we know better for somebody else than they know for themselves. And girl, I got to tell you, it ain't true. You know, I mean, I get it. I'm a mama, and I'm going to talk about a little bit this in a minute. And I'm like, and I look at my kids and I'm like, oh, they don't know what they don't know. And if they would just listen to mama, it would be so much easier. And then you know what? They don't listen to mama because they have to have their own experiences. They literally came to this planet to have me be their mama so they can have their own experiences. And I need to just let it go. Just like Jesse says, let it go, let it go, let it go, right? So look at this week, you guys. It's an amazing time. It sounds like shadow work. And in a way, over control is definitely shadow work, but you can reframe that to where it's light work, because when you can release the things you're holding on to, when you can release the parts when you're in over control, you can literally let the energetics of that go. When we are hanging on, we are constricting ourselves, we are constricting our bodies, and we are not in a state of openness and breath, right? So that's what's going on there. Okay. So let me see just a few more things about this. Again, one more thing. So I said before that Uranus is the planet of the hidden ways. So it's kind of like the secret planet, secret, right? And its purpose really is to help us accept unpredictability. And what happens when we accept unpredictability, right? When stuff is going on around us and we can't control it and it's unpredictable and we don't know what's going to happen next, it's a really, really uncomfortable feeling. But what has to happen when unpredictability is going on all around us? What is the best and most healthy coping mechanism for unpredictability? Anybody know? Because if you guys drop it in the chat right now, because I would love to hear if you guys know, what is the best and most healthiest thing you can do when faced with unpredictability? Okay, one, breathe, right? And the other one is really to trust your own intuition. Trust your intuition. When unpredictability and change is going on all around you and you don't know how to control it, and you can't really, you feel out of control, you feel overwhelmed, and you feel like it's just spinning around you, the best thing you can do is take a breath, close your eyes, drop into your heart space, drop into yourself, and listen to your intuition, because your intuition will always lead the way of what is best for you. And how do you know it's your intuition instead of your mental plane? If it feels right. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to feel good. It may not feel comfortable. Your intuition might say, you have to get up and move. You've got to leave everything behind. Like, I don't know, intuition is a funny thing. And yet when you hear it, when you feel your intuition and it's right for you, you just know it's right. If it is leading you in the direction of truth, leading you in the direction of your highest good, that is your intuition. If it's spinning downward, that's your ego, that's your monkey mind, and that is not intuition, okay? Okay, so Uranus is really here with its unpredictability to being in retrograde and really dealing with unpredictability to help you understand, know, and listen and trust your intuition. We all have it. Every single one of us, we are intuitive, okay? I've said this a million times. I am no different than the rest of you. I really am not. I just have developed my intuition better, right? It does come as a natural gift for me. It's easy for me. Michael Jordan can play basketball. I can tap into my intuition, and we all can tap into our intuition, okay? Got that. So, the other thing I just want to let you know about this week is that on a physical level, when an outer planet, so Uranus is an outer planet, it moves into retrograde, your body might feel the effects of it and really want to slow down. So you might really feel tired this week. I know I am feeling tired. I was blaming it on my trips, and I was blaming it on this last one because I was go, 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 go. So I came home Saturday night, and yesterday I just rested. I had so many things I wanted to get to, and my body was just not doing it. My body just needed me to slow down. And then when I started looking at the cosmic forces to go along with it yesterday afternoon, to prepare for today, I realized that I am right in sync with the cosmology, right? The cosmetics. So, okay. And then the last thing I want to tell you really quick is that that this week on Wednesday is the super full moon. Okay. So you guys, we got that going on. 7 planets in retrograde plus the full moon, right? And it's a super full moon because it is the second moon of the month. We had a full moon early in the month. Now we have a full moon late in the month. So we have 2 full moons in a month. When that has been cosmically, that is release work. Remember, full moons are release work. So we started the month off with release work. We're ending the month with release work, and it's a lot. I don't know if you guys have had a lot going on this August, but for most people, this has been an allotness month, right? Just a lot. And it just lines up cosmically what's going on. Okay. Yep. It's the blue moon. So it is the rare, Jesse, you're right. It is the rare. It's pretty rare because it happens. So it's the blue moon. And the last thing I wanted to tell you is that the blue moon this month, this moon in particular, it's being supported by the planet Venus. And Venus is all about love and relationships, family, love, and that kind of stuff. And the real message of Venus in this blue moon, this rare blue moon, is to love ourselves. Just love yourself. Love yourself exactly as you are today, right now. Love all your light, love all your shadow. We talked about this last week. You know, we tend to run from our shadow. We don't like to look at our shadow. There is no light without darkness. There's no darkness without light. You know, there's the masculine and the feminine. The law of duality is a major universal law on our 3-dimensional planet, and also in the other realms. The spiritual realms is the law of duality. And so just embrace the law of duality and embrace yourself. Okay.